What is up? My name is Cooper Neal. That is Jaret Bennett, and we love drafts. And today is the first of many. We are officially doing a first round NFL mock draft, following all the Senior Bowls, Shrine Bowls, all the fun things. I think officially have everybody that's declared, unless, Trinidad Chambliss somehow doesn't win his case and he does the thing that I think smart anyway and goes to the NFL draft. But who cares? He's not going to be in the first round anyways. But Jaret, how you doing following the Super Bowl?
I'm very excited. This is the start of draft season. Really, is when the Super Bowl ends because then now NFL draft season really gets in full swing. We're posing NBA trade deadline, so we know what teams need, so we can start looking at that. Like getting close to March Madness. College baseball season's about to start, so we're getting close to that.
Starts
looking
this
at that.
Friday.
Yeah, so
I'm
this is
excited.
exciting. This is exciting for us. And I say let's just get into this draft here because I think there's some interesting
Your
things that can
odds,
happen
I'm
here.
evens.
Yeah, I'll take
Nothing's
odds,
changing.
and I'll take the really tough number one pick here.
Yeah, you will.
No one knows what's going to happen with this one. I'm kidding. This is Fernando Mendoza. The Raiders desperately need a quarterback. This is a one quarterback draft. He's a good one. He gives them that need. They need a lot. So honestly, they should be considering trading down or potentially even taking like an Arvil Reese or a Bain with this pick. But they're going to take Mendoza. If they need that quarterback, there's your quarterback. He's good.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think this is a run to the podium the second it starts. Because like you said, they have a lot of needs, which is why I thought the Genty pick was kind of a crazy one for them because that's kind of a luxury. But I think you get the quarterback in place and then you build out around it. And that offensive line prior to Pete Carroll, because not much changed personnel-wise, was actually not as bad as they were last year. So maybe a new coach, new system, new regime can get that offensive line looking like 2 years ago. The NFL draft really does start at the number 2 pick with the Jets because once they start, this is where we're going to kind of get to start having a feel of it. I'm not even going to hesitate. I'm going Ruben Bain. I think you get the guy that is pound for pound one of the best players in this class, defensive line. I think that playoff run alone is what solidified him as a top 3 prospect for me.
Yeah, he's a beast for sure. I think Jets are in BPA territory, and that's the dude.
Yeah, and I think he's just the guy. He's strong and he's got a quick burst, and I think they're gonna love him.
Yeah. That brings the Cardinals up next. Cardinals are in a weird spot where I think they desperately need a quarterback, but that's not on the table. I think they're a team that'll be in Kirk Cousins, potentially as a landing spot for him. They also need an offensive line, but I don't think they do that. I think right here at this point they're just going to take Arvil Reese and be happy that he's the one left. I think there's kind of a big 3 at the top of the draft, and I think they'll be happy to take whichever one of Reese or Bain is not there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't disagree at all. I also think they're kind of in a excluding quarterback. They kind of need BPA.
Yeah.
And I think Arvil Reese is definitely that. And if he's even on the board, because like I said, I feel like the Jets can go. The Jets might go
Reese, and then I think if you're the Cardinals, you go Bain.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Moving on to the Titans, man.
Count on this one being
a better offensive line play.
Count on this one being a dumb pick.
Probably, but it is Robert Saleh, and because it's Robert Saleh, I'm gonna go David Bailey. I know we're kind of being blue chip right now, like we're only going right down the board, but they need somebody to pair with Jeff Simmons. I mean, Jeff Simmons is out there doing it by himself. They found a linebacker that worked really well. I'm blanking on the dude's name, but I think you get the best pound for pound pass rusher. Where I think Bain is the best all around, I think David Bailey is easily one of the craziest pass rushers in this class. He has that first step paired with just all the moves you would ever want out of an edge rusher. I think you pair him with Jeffrey Simmons and Robert Saleh, they're going to love a David Bailey. So I'm going David Bailey.
Yeah. All right, that brings up the Giants, another interesting team, and now with John Harbaugh as the coach. I feel like usually they draft defense with his teams, and
they need a lot of defense.
They really need to shore up that secondary, which is why I'm really intrigued by taking Caleb Downs here. But I think with how they've run this team, they'll go receiver again, and they're going to take Carnell Tate. Like, they really need more of a corner than a safety, too. They need another receiver next to Malik Neighbors. Darius Slayton's terrible. Wan'Dale Robinson's a decent slot guy at best. They need more than that, especially with Neighbors now some injury history to him where that becomes a little more unreliable.
Fair. I don't disagree at all. They need a lot of things, excluding a quarterback and a running back.
Yeah.
And a defensive line.
And defensive line. They got those. So well done there. And then
Cleveland Browns. I think I might intrigue you with the pick I'm making here. I'm going Francis Mauigoa. tackle out of Miami. I think their O-line last year was atrocious. And I think the best way to kind of gauge whether or not you actually like Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson, whoever is under center, you got to have an O-line that is capable of blocking,
Mhm.
period. And they just weren't that last year. So I'm going Francis Mauigoa to shore up that offensive line.
All right, Commanders are the next pick. They got plenty of needs. A big need though for them is defensive backs. Their secondary was poor this past season, and I think you take one of the best defensive back prospects we've seen in a while in Caleb Downs. I think for them, from an NFC Championship 2 years ago to where they are now, just keep infusing with young talent and just take some dudes and just keep
Yeah,
building that
because
roster out. Like they're not
hopefully you
far
don't have
away.
as bad of injury luck, as you did
Yeah.
this year. Maybe things will turn around injury wise, but I think Caleb Downs is one of my top 3 players. I'm not even going
Mhm.
to stutter with it.
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling he's going to fall just because
He
safeties are just
could.
sadly not valued.
Yeah.
Like Kyle Hamilton fell all the way to the 20s, and Kyle Hamilton was easily a top 10 player in that class.
I'll say I could easily see this pick here being Sonny Styles or even Delane potentially,
Yeah,
but I think the
I think
Washington
Delane
drafts.
is definitely going to be one of those guys to watch the combine
Yeah.
because if he runs fast,
Yeah.
Delane's moving up
He could move up to all the way to
quickly.
3,
3.
honestly,
I agree. Yeah.
or 4 to the
I
Titans.
love Mansour Delane. I get to pick for your
You
Saints.
get to pick for my
Ooh.
Saints here.
I really so I could go like Peter Woods to really tick you off. I could go like Cassius Howell. Actually, Cassius Howell is a very drastically different pick than the Saints would ever make. Keldrick Falk, on the other hand, would be a Saints pick. The big guy that had no actual statistical impact whatsoever.
We love that.
Yeah. I'm going Jordan Tyson. I think Tyler Shock showed you what you wanted to see. Yes, Love is an interesting thought here for them, but I think they have so many other needs in this wide receiver class. I think you got to get somebody to pair with Chris Olave because there were Walmart employees out there catching balls for Tyler Shock. And I think you actually want to see what Tyler Shock's capable of, and you give Chris Olave, who's, in my opinion, is a better as a number 2 receiver, and then you bring in a number 1 wide receiver, Jordan Tyson. And I think that's you got your 1-2 combo wide
Yeah.
receiver wise for the future.
With how, especially with Kellen Moore coaching, you're going to think they're going to want to keep throwing the ball and building out that passing game. I think that's more likely what they're going to do because they have a lot to shore up if they're going to get a running back. That interior offensive line is not good enough right now for that to be that impactful. And so they'll, I think, do that with their other picks rather than go and do who I think now the Chiefs take if he's available, which is Jeremiah Love. If he's on the board,
I
I
knew
think
you
they
were going
take
to do
him.
that.
Like
I mean,
that screams
name a team
Chiefs.
that doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
they actually have a need at running back.
They
They
have a
have the other
need.
stuff kind of built
They
out.
have a
So do
need at
it.
running back. They could go receiver. They could go Mekhi Lemon here.
Yeah.
But I think they're pretty happy just have Mahomes throw to whoever. But they need a running game with that.
They need a run game. Period. I know fans probably aren't happy to see the Chiefs picking in the top 10 after they've been to what is it 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls or something crazy like that. Probably more than that actually at this point. Yeah, they desperately need that. Dang it. I forgot I have to pick for the Bengals. Can I just say defense and
Just
randomly
take some
plug in
defensive
any
player.
defensive player? Because there's a world. Dang. I mean, I could see a world where Caden McDonald's talked about here, Caleb Banks.
This is where I think Caleb Downs' floor is. I don't see him getting past the Bengals.
I don't either. I think we're talking about Caleb Downs from 3 to 10. I think that'd be my range at least.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I don't actually know if the Bengals need a linebacker, but I'm really intrigued by Sonny Styles here.
Could just go Mekhi Lemon here. And you never know with the Bengals.
I actually think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to take Sonny Styles here. I don't think that's been popularly mocked here. And according to PFF, they need a center, a guard, a D lineman, and a safety. And I could go offensive line. What's the offensive? No. I think that's too rich for my blood for an offensive line right now. I just think Sonny Styles. I actually like Sonny Styles a little bit more than Arvell Reese as far as pure linebacker play. I think he gives you everything you want and more. And he was a converted safety, so he's got the speed for it. He's still learning through all the like just pure middle linebacker type stuff, like a Luke Kuechly style, like cerebral thing. But he reads it well. He doesn't miss tackles. He's always in the right spot, and he's 6'4", 245. Like, what else do you want?
He screams future captain of his defense.
Yeah, and they need that.
They need that.
So give me Sonny Styles at
I'd
pick
like
10.
that
I didn't
pick.
know that that's the way I was going with that, but I'm going with Sonny Styles because I definitely believe that he is a top 7 player in this class. So getting him at 10 is value in my book.
Yeah. Dolphins are up next.
I'm glad I didn't
This
have
is
to pick for the
tough. They
Dolphins.
could go with Tyreek Hill's injury. They do need a receiver, but I don't think they do that with who knows who's playing quarterback next year for them. I think they go Mansour Delane right here. They need a corner desperately.
Well, we just completely picked the board apart
I
right before
know.
the Cowboys.
But I think Dolphins, they need to be able to defend somebody better than what
Yeah.
they're doing.
I wholeheartedly agree. And I think you got the best cover corner in this class, hands down. So I'm definitely agree with that pick. But now we get to the Cowboys who need linebacker and corner, and we just picked the two guys because obviously you could go Jermon McCoy here.
I've had Sonny Styles here at this pick.
Yeah, I wasn't really anticipating going Sonny Styles, but I just kind of liked the pick the more I thought about it. Man, yeah, I did just kind of ruin the board for the Cowboys because the one thing they don't need is interior defensive line, and that's
they
some
don't.
of the best players on the board.
Kenny Clark.
And I just have a weird feeling the Cowboys are very much against arm length defensive ends, which is Cassius Howell, and I don't think they're going to want to take Keldrick Faulk because he's going to be give him 2 or 3 years. So we are going to go Jermon McCoy. Jermon McCoy did not play last year for Tennessee, but had some of the best tape the year prior, but didn't play all last year because of injury. I still think he's one of the better corners, and I just don't think he's going to get talked about as much due to that injury. But his tape last year was arguably number 2 cornerback tape outside of Mansour Delane. So I think you still just take a guy. Will the Cowboys feel weird about taking back-to-back injured corners in the last 2 drafts? Probably. But
Jerry doesn't care.
At this point, you got to do what you got to do.
Jerry looks at the board. He looks at the first 3 names and decides which position he wants out of those 3 positions.
Yeah, and he won't go interior defensive line.
No.
Or wide receiver. We do not need wide receiver.
No. This next pick originally was held by the Atlanta Falcons. So they really like James Pierce Jr. a lot. That tells you a lot about that franchise. This is now going to the Los Angeles Rams, which feels unfair, but
it does.
I think the Rams
a lot of different ways you can go with this. This is a luxury.
They probably would have taken Jermon McCoy if he was still there.
Good,
because they could have used a corner. I think at this point they go Spencer Fano. They need a tackle as well. They keep shoring that up. This is just let's build out our depth some more. Take another good tackle in Fano.
Yeah.
No, especially as they start building towards whoever the quarterback after Stafford is, to start building that offensive line now is a luxury.
Yeah. And I think there is a world where, sidebar, you could, because this is a luxury pick and Matt Stafford's not really going to lose you games to where you're picking in this range, you could take a Ty Simpson, let him sit for a year behind Stafford.
They could.
It's a thought. I'm not saying I would do it, but
the Rams are. I don't think the Rams are an amazing drafting team, so maybe they do that.
Just because it's a luxury pick, and Stafford's not going to lose games. I mean, he proved that this year. Like, he's going to have you in that Super Bowl race. So that is going to be one of the more intriguing picks, I think, for me.
I could easily see that one being
just because they could go a lot of different ways.
Where they reach, or maybe they go like an Avion Terrell or a Terrell, excuse me. Maybe they do something weird, like, hey, we'll take Denzel Boston here, and we'll just say, well, Devontae Adams is old, so we're going to start building that out. Who knows? They're kind of, maybe they take Kenyon Sadiq, because...
they did just take Terrence Ferguson, though.
That's true. But you can never have enough tight ends. That's what I've always said.
The Ravens are
Ravens are interesting.
Because on one hand, part of me kind of wants to go interior defensive line due to the injury, the neck injury. I'm blanking on the dude's name, but neck injuries are never really something that you want to play with. So there's a world where that is like an immediate impact. Matabuke, I was blanking on his name. But also Mekhi Lemon's so interesting because I love Mekhi Lemon, but I also don't want to give them 2 small wide receivers with Mekhi Lemon and Zay Flowers. So, I mean, they're both awesome receivers, but I just don't know if you want to build your offense around 2 smaller receivers. I think I'm going to, could go a big Senior Bowl riser and Lee Hunter. But I think I'm just going to take kind of a safe pick. I don't know if a lot of people will deem it that, but I'm going to go Peter Woods, D lineman out of Clemson. I think everybody on that Clemson team had a down year. I still think these guys are good prospects, and you get them into a good system, I think they're going to be fine. So I'm going to go him because I think that gives you good Matabuke insurance. He's very different than Travis Jones. Travis Jones, 330, 340, D tackle, nose tackle. Peter Woods gives you a little bit more flexibility. So I'm going to go Peter Woods at 14 for the Ravens.
Fair. Buccaneers.
Take a guy that you know nothing about.
Yeah, I know nothing about Peter Woods. I think Buccaneers need they will go defense, I think, with this pick, for
Yes.
sure. And they've historically, at least to me, it's felt like they like big boys on the defensive line. So I think they go Keldrick Falk here. 6'6",
Okay.
285, just
Okay.
a
Keldrick.
huge edge rusher.
Yeah, he's a
Um,
specimen.
yeah, I think they like that a lot. They could go Cassius Howell here. Falk seems more their vibe.
Cassius Howell's going to fall because he's going to have short arms.
Yeah,
That's the only thing that's going to
yeah.
drop him is the short arms. But no, I like Keldrick Falk. He's got all the size in the world, and I think he actually does well pressure wise. It's
Mhm,
just that pressure doesn't always turn into a sack. But I think you also notice like this year at Auburn, he was making impact, but he wasn't the one getting the
mhm.
play made because he was getting double teamed. So I think there's a world where that speaks volumes when he's not going to get double teamed out the gate in the NFL. The Jets are
You
back on
get
the
the
clock.
Jets
Who'd you
back
take with the
again.
Jets? Oh,
You
I got the
took
Jets twice.
you took Ruben
Ruben Bain.
Bain at number 2.
Yeah. So I think this is easy for me. I'm going Caleb Banks. A lot of people might not know a lot about Caleb Banks, but because he only played 3 games this year, 6'6", 330. He was one of the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl. I don't remember which one he was at, but he was one of those guys that definitely had a good showing there. Because he showed everybody what everybody knew he was capable of, but he didn't play this past year really. But 6'6", 330, you can't teach that size. And they just got rid of a guy in Quentin Williams. So now you're going to pair Caleb Banks and Ruben Bain together. You're already making, and you have Jermaine Johnson on the other side. You're already making a pretty filthy D line to hopefully
And for Aaron
get the Jets
Glenn,
on the right track.
yeah,
Yeah,
Aaron Glenn's gonna love that.
yeah. So give me Caleb
Let's
Banks.
start something in New York, at least. Lions
Yeah,
up next. I don't see Cassius Howe getting past this pick. Lions are one of those teams that they've shown they care much more about production rather than the combine or some
yeah.
athleticism metrics. Howe is very productive. They're gonna love that. I think
He's very
they
good.
need an edge rusher to go on the other side of Hutchinson. Howe fit that very well and give him a nice little 1-2 punch there on that defensive line.
I wholeheartedly agree. Crap, it's the Vikings.
Vikings don't need a lot.
They need a
They need a
quarterback,
quarterback. It doesn't say they need a quarterback, but they need a quarterback.
man. And if Jeremiah Love and his positional value falls all the way here, I would run to the podium with that pick. Their interior wasn't phenomenal. They also dealt with some injuries with Darisaw going down early. I think Donovan Jackson, they drafted him first round last year, played left guard or right guard. Then you have Ryan Kelly, an old center. They could also use some DB help. And this is also one of those interesting teams we mentioned at the beginning that, we'll try to be as close to how teams draft, but they're under new GM because they just let go of their last GM. I might actually make a really crazy pick here. I just don't know if you're ready because I definitely want to give more props to this guy. Straight up playmaker in the secondary. Small school.
Yeah, okay.
And I think Harrison Smith is not getting any younger. And I definitely just think this guy can play the nickel. This guy can play in the box. This guy can play deep. He's going to make plays. I think he literally, let me see if I can find it in PFF if they have it in here. I believe, I don't know the number, but I believe he literally set an NCAA record for the most forced fumbles, and he's a strong safety. So I'm going Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo. I think this is definitely the part. I think he's going to be a guy that is going to shine at the combine just because he's going to fly around.
Yeah.
He's super athletic. He's always in the right spot. Really good dude. I think he's going to kill it at interviews, but this dude just makes plays. I mean, he flies around the entire defense, makes plays. I'm going to Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I absolutely love this dude.
I
I
love
love
that
the small
pick.
school guys in Toledo. And
One of the
Quinyon
best
Mitchell, he
Yeah.
panned out. So
One of the best graded players in this draft from PFF, like a
yeah,
91.9 for the season. And his best game was against an SEC school in Kentucky. So his production was not hey, this guy was awesome against the MAC. No, this guy's awesome.
yeah.
I like
And
that
he did
pick a
it
lot.
3 years in a row.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. Panthers are up next. Your Panthers. I think they run to the podium to take Mekhi Lemon at this point. They
I
need
love
another
it.
receiver.
I didn't know he'd get here.
Yeah, Mekhi Lemon's here at 19. They take Mekhi Lemon at 19.
Yeah.
They're probably good chance they're going receiver anyway.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong here.
It's either receiver or it's Caden
Yeah.
McDonald.
Correct me
to
if I'm
shore up the
wrong. Lemon
D-line.
lines up in the slot a lot as well, which they could really use.
Oh, yeah. Ted McMillan on the outside, Jalen Coker on the other side, and then Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah, they need more things to keep making. Bryce Young showed at least this year that when he's comfortable and guys are open, he can make those plays. Get some more guys to help him continue to feel comfortable in games that are not just in Carolina.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think Mekhi Lemon he's arguably one of my favorite receivers. I'm kind of shocked
I think he's
fell this
great.
far.
Yeah, I really like him.
I don't think that was intentional, but hey, that's the beauty of,
That's how it
our
goes
first mock
sometimes.
draft run. There's going to be some crazy things, but I love Makai Lemon. I think he is the type of dude you want on your football team. I love that pick for the Panthers. We're back to the
Back to the
Cowboys.
Cow.
I
There you took Jermon McCoy with their first pick.
Yeah, and this would definitely be a place where the Cowboys never value safety, but I would love an Emmanuel McNeil Warren here. I think a TJ Parker, he definitely worked his way back in to, I think, being a first round type of guy after the Shrine or Senior Bowl. And the reason I'm saying Shrine or Senior, I don't remember where all these dudes went to. I just know they went to one of the two, and I've read the articles. I think a CJ Allen at linebacker is definitely a thought here. And I think a guy like Akeem
I think
Mesidor.
Mesidor makes a lot of sense.
Mesidor is one of my favorite prospects. He might be older than me.
He's 25.
He's 25. He's going to be 25 as a rookie. But I think he's such an underrated aspect of what the Miami team did this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's between him and CJ Allen. I know I said I'd be quick with my picks, but because I just think the Cowboys desperately need linebacker help, but I also just think you can't pass up on the guy that's going to come in and immediately make an impact, and I think that's what Akeem Mesidor does. So I'm going to go Akeem Mesidor, pick 20 here for the Cowboys.
I like that pick. When I first did this, I had to get him
I think you
Sonny
get immediate
Styles
impacts.
and Akeem Mesidor. Yeah, again, speaking of PFF grades, one of the best graded players in the draft, like a 92.5.
Yeah. He's such an underrated aspect of that D line.
Was so
he was incredible
last year.
Yeah.
I think he actually holds up pretty well in the run game as well. So Jerry Jones is going to like that.
Yeah,
they need some pass rush.
Stop the run,
and he's an elite pass rusher. Steelers are up next, and they very well could go Ty Simpson here. But I am convinced that they're bringing back Aaron Rodgers for another season.
They're definitely bringing back Aaron Rodgers,
and
I think
potentially,
what's his name already said it.
Potentially more seasons afterwards. That's why I think they brought in Mike McCarthy to coach. I don't think you don't make a hire for Aaron Rodgers and then go draft another quarterback because we know he doesn't like that. Which means I think they go receiver with this pick. And I think they just go Denzel Boston and say, screw it. We'll go receiver. We're going to keep helping out Aaron Rodgers. That's what went wrong this year is we need more receiver help for our guy. We got your back, A-Rod. And
I don't hate it.
Yeah. That's more, I do hate it.
I hate the thought process for the Steelers, but I like the pick.
I think that's what they probably do. I mean, I like Denzel Boston, but
yeah. And I think he pairs nice with DK. I think he actually runs route trees. He's a great blocker. I do love Denzel Boston. He's going to do the little things. And I think he pairs nicely. And then maybe you bring back a Calvin Austin to be that slot guy that takes the top off. But I mean, based on the way they run tight end personnel packages anyways, you're going to want bigger receivers for that team. So I love Denzel Boston here. The Los Angeles Chargers, I think if they don't get offensive line, there might be a demand for a trade from one Justin Herbert. So I'm going to go Iwane. I don't know how to say his first name. Iwane, the guard out of Penn State here. You just got to shore up that offensive line, and I think he's going to plug and play at guard for them.
Yeah, I think that's an obvious pick for them. They should be so much better, but that offensive line has just sucked. That brings up the Eagles, and Eagles could be a Kenyon Sadiq team. But I think
they very much could.
They could also be a Terrell or a TJ Parker or a bunch of things. They need some guys on defense. I think their thought process though right now is our offense sucked last year, and which is why I do think they take Kenyon Sadiq here.
I don't disagree. Especially with Goddard being a free agent. I can easily see a world where they go that.
I just don't see how they would look at their offense this year and then potentially losing Goddard and think, we're fine on offense. I think that's an urgent need for them is to try to just get some more weapons in there. Just a specimen.
Yes, he is.
You love him.
Oh boy, yeah, he is.
I mean, 6'3",
I love Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna.
You would know better than I would. How is he as a blocker?
I mean, that leaves some to be desired. But I think when you get Kenyon Sadiq, you're not really going for him for the blocking aspect.
Agree.
I think I don't want to compare him directly to Harold Fannin from last year's draft, but like if you're going to go the type of guy from last year's draft, it'd be more Harold Fannin. I think he's going to test better athletically than Harold Fannin. And we already saw that Harold Fannin was really productive in his rookie year with not great quarterback play. So
I think
if you get him in the right system,
we're getting to the point, at least with the receivers, Devontae Smith's still strong, but I think we've seen the best of AJ Brown already.
I think AJ Brown's going to get traded this offseason.
He very well could be traded. So they need to keep getting some pass catchers and help Jalen Hurts out. Get guys who can complete easy checkdowns too, which is going to be receiving backs, tight ends. stuff like that.
If I hadn't taken Nuwane for the Chargers, I probably would have taken him here for the Browns and just double dipped an O-line in the first round of this draft for the Browns. I've already taken Francis Noah.
This could be Ty Simpson.
This very well could be Ty Simpson, but I just don't understand why you would try to get a look at 3 different quarterbacks. And Deshaun Watson still is making $50 million.
Let's be clear. There's no reason to try to get a look at 2 quarterbacks. And yet, I don't know why they would either. They have a Pro Bowl quarterback right now. So clearly it worked.
Because 12 other quarterbacks said no.
Semantics.
Supposedly. All right. I don't think they go Caden Proctor. I think Caden Proctor is going to be a guard. I just don't think he has the foot speed to be a tackle. And if anything from the Super Bowl was taught, it was that don't force a guard to play tackle. If you know, you know. I could see a world where they have a conversation about him, but I think I'm going to get an actual wide receiver. I don't believe in Jerry Jeudy as a number 1. I think you get a guy that you put the ball in his hands, he can take the top off. So I'm going to go Casey Concepcion here.
That you don't believe in Jerry Jeudy.
He drops more than he catches for them. I think he led the NFL in drops.
He probably did.
There's a reason the Broncos gave up on him. But Casey Concepcion, he's a yak guy, yards after catch. So I'm all over Casey Concepcion for them. And they need to do shorter throws anyways because they don't have much time to throw.
No,
so
not at all. Bears are up next. I think they shore up the interior defensive line. Just take Caden McDonald. They're in a good spot.
Yeah, he shouldn't be on the board still.
No, he shouldn't be. That fits a need. But the Bears are a team that look into them doing something weird, instead taking we just move further down the board here, move a couple places down, and take a AJ Halsey or something like that and get a safety. The Bears don't draft well, period. I think
Colson Loveland was a great pick.
Colson Loveland was a good pick. I still would have rather had Tyler Warren on that team.
I don't know. Colson Loveland was awesome in their offense. I mean, Tyler Warren would have been awesome.
I know he fit their offense, but Tyler Warren would be awesome in any offense.
Yeah, he was awesome.
They overthought that pick. And I know
I agree.
I'm happy for them that it worked out as well as it did with Loveland, but no.
The Bills. Oh boy. Casey Concepcion would have been a good fit here. I just keep taking the guy I want to take at my next pick. I also could see a world where the Bills call up the Eagles and they're like, hey, we're back on the board here in the first round. Is AJ Brown available? And then you get your number 1 wide receiver that way. I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility. I apologize if I'm about to offend Bills fans, but I think you need to get younger and I think you need to get better on the defensive side of the football in all phases. And I'm gonna take TJ Parker out of Clemson. I think he went from 12 sacks 2 years ago to 6 sacks this past year. But again, I think everybody on that Clemson team just had a down year. I don't necessarily know if there's one thing to pin that on, but I think TJ Parker is still a really good player. And the videos I was watching of him at the Shriner Senior Bowl where he was just absolutely putting offensive tackles on their butts because of the power that he was displaying in that thing. I think that's just going to put him right back in to the back end of this first round. I think his floor kind of starts in the back end of this first round and the front end of that second round. So I think you get him here and shore up that defensive line that's old and aging and just needs to have a nice infusion of youth.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Niners here, kind of going back and forth on what I think they should do. I think they should take Avion Terrell personally, but that doesn't really feel like the Niners
49ers way.
No, he's a big playmaker. I think they go something like CJ Allen. I like the CJ Allen pick here for them.
Little linebacker.
They're starting to get old there. Fred Warner get hurt this year. Am I right on that?
He did. I mean, that whole team got hurt this year.
They're Niners. They get hurt every year. So I think they just start rebuilding that entire defense because I think that's where really the injuries are happening is on that defensive. They should be going quarterback as well, but they're not. Yeah. They're not there yet. So,
I agree. Not with the quarterback part, but I agree with the pick of CJ Allen. Man, I have to pick for the Houston Texans. Okay. Offensive line, period. But I don't love the offensive line right now. I think Caleb Lomu needs a year. I don't know much about Monroe Freeling. He was a true junior that declared. I mean, he's huge, 6'7", 315, and he was a stalwart on those Georgia offensive line. Good pass blocker. I don't necessarily know about the run blocking. I'm not a huge Caden Proctor fan, at all. So that's why I think the Texans are going to take him.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Because I don't think he's that good of an offensive lineman, and I think that's exactly who the Texans draft. Offensive line wise, he will move into guard. He cannot play tackle. Please don't play him at tackle. But I think they need a guard anyways, and I think this is similar to Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton was drafted. They tried him at tackle. It was not good. And then the Eagles got him in a buy low deal, and they played him at guard, and he was incredible. Well, he was better at guard. Let me go back. I think you get Caden Proctor and you try to shore up some of that interior offensive line for
They
this
have to
team that
help it. Yeah.
watched. They have to, because CJ Stroud turned into a pumpkin because of how bad his offensive line play was.
They've just tried to show him that he needs about an hour to throw to process the defense. So please help him get some time.
Who knew that those IQ tests for quarterbacks was important?
Maybe they matter. Go figure.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Rams are back up again. Had them take Fano with their first pick, which is why I didn't think that was the gift pick, the luxury pick is taking 13. Now I think you took a real need with tackle. Now I think you go Ty Simpson. He's there at 29. He might not be there if you do that, but have him sit behind Matthew Stafford and learn. That'll help him out tremendously. Yeah. The production's there from Simpson. He has showed some great signs, but again, it's flashes. I personally am not a huge fan of him, but I also don't think the Rams are a great drafting team, so that's why I think they'll probably take him here. They could. I wouldn't be shocked if they take him at 13. I really wouldn't be.
I wouldn't either. Because I think you get ahead of the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Vikings could shock people and take another quarterback. The Browns, I think that's probably it as far as teams that would definitely need a quarterback.
Yeah. The thing is, I think the Rams are perfectly content to take Avion Terrell if one of those teams jumps them and takes Ty Simpson. I think they're content to not take him. But I think they will start looking towards the future sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because we heard, obviously Matthew Stafford had an MVP season, but all the preseason was how broken Matthew Stafford's body is at this point.
Back was. Yeah.
Yeah. It's remarkable
I don't
what he
disagree
did.
at all. Broncos. Very interesting team. And I don't know that much about their immediate needs. Full transparency. It says running back.
Yeah, but running back, which I don't think it is, though. I don't think they need a running back. They had RJ Harvey. Yeah, I liked RJ Harvey. I guess maybe they could use.
I think J.K. Dobbins, you couldn't predict him getting hurt.
Well, with J.K. Dobbins, you could have.
Probably. I just don't. There's not a running back that I would consider really here. Definitely don't need corner. They don't need defense. Period. Their defense is incredible.
Yeah.
What's on the board? I do really like Lee Hunter. Really, really do. And I think he gives you some juice. Yeah, I'm going to go Lee Hunter. I don't necessarily know if they need that, but I think you're picking at 30. You can take some luxury picks here and there. I'm going to go Lee Hunter, the D tackle out of Texas Tech.
That makes sense. I mean, I think they're in a really good spot where unless you really like some guys offensively, I would look at this season if I'm them and when I'm evaluating, it's we lost Bo Nix and then we had a snow game, a blizzard game. And that
where we still almost
won because their defense is incredible. How do we make sure right now it's can we maintain what our defense does? And so any pick you can make that keeps that going. Because Sean Payton
I will say I would have considered a Sadiq here.
If he was there this far. Sean Payton really doesn't care who's on his offense.
I agree. I think he can make it work.
He can manage a team to get to 20 points just about any game.
Yeah. And I think if Omar Cooper goes out and runs a 4.4, I could see him slipping in this back end.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like a guy in Chris Bell. I think getting somebody else, but I just feel like Chris Bell and the dude they took out of Oregon are such a similar player. I just don't see them taking that. I really would have loved Sadiq to fall here, but I'm not taking another tight end in the first round of this draft. So we'll just go. I think that's a luxury pick. I really do because
they're in a great spot.
But I think they have a bunch of guys that are older, not necessarily the big name interior defensive line. So I get in a guy like Lee Hunter is awesome for them because he's going to do everything they want him to do and more.
Well, that brings up the Patriots, and boy, what could the Patriots need?
Line.
Yeah. So it becomes really a question of Lomu or Freeling.
Like I said, I don't know much about Freeling as much as I do Lomu. Lomu's definitely going to need a year.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be immediate.
I'm just looking. His production was not great last year. I think Freeling, just looking at the measurables right away, 6'7", 315.
Yeah, big
boy, but not like Proctor, who's 380.
Yeah,
so
they can't move.
Should be able to move. I think they go Freeling here. They desperately need a tackle, so I don't see any way they're not taking that here.
I think you can go Freeling, and I think you kick Will Campbell inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that comes up to the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. I think they're just going to take BPA. I think that team is elite. I think one of their only free agents, big time free agents, is Kenneth Walker, and you're 1,000% bringing him back.
Just bring it back.
following that Super Bowl performance. I think you go a guy like Avion Terrell. I think you bring in Avion Terrell, who I think the only reason he fell is because, again, I think Clemson just has such a bad year that it's lowering the value on all of their prospects. I think he's still a good prospect, but I think you get him here, and I think he takes over for Tariq Woolen. I think that's a 1-2 switch out because I think Woolen is a free agent, and I don't think they're going to bring him back. There's just been a lot of validity following his first really good year in the thing, but you pair him with Devon Witherspoon, who's arguably one of the best corners in the league right now.
I think just continuing what you've already done with that team, I just look at the playmaker that Terrell is.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns each of the last 2 seasons at Clemson.
And you bring that in with a team that's already playmaking central.
So that's just...
I love it.
I like that a lot.
I love it.
That could be dangerous.
Yeah. Jared, I'm feeling great. That was fun.
I like that. I'm pretty... There's a couple, like, I wish I kind of ignored the Rams had a second pick when I took Fano. But I was like, you know what? I wish I didn't, like...
I wish I didn't pick my board one pick early every single time.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, that's the beauty of the draft, though. It's always going to be different. Like I said, the combine is, I believe, in 2 weeks from Monday.
So we'll have another mock draft about a month from now, I believe.
Yeah.
Getting a monthly mock draft out.
Maybe next week we come with the NBA.
We can do an NBA one next week.
Yeah, we'll go to Tankathon, just send that lottery.
Until the Grizzlies end up number 1, and then we go from there.
And then we draft. No. And I think we'll have fun because that one's always going to be different because the lottery is just a crazy world.
Yeah.
But yeah, hope y'all like this one. Obviously, we love doing mock drafts, so we're going to probably come back with even more. Like I said, we'll probably do a 2-round mock draft after the combine because that's when you'll really get some movers and shakers, if you will. And obviously, we'll know a little bit more even probably tomorrow. I feel like you learn more about the draft prospects each and every day. But Jaret, you got any college basketball before we hop off here?
That's a great point, and the answer is yes, but I forgot, and I'm going to check right now. Please look.
While you're checking, I can at least shout out Mikael Brown. He's not a fan favorite on this show, but came out with a 46-point game.
He showed that star upside that we've been waiting to see. That was wildly impressive.
Yeah, 10 of 16 from the 3-point line, and they put up 118 on NC State. Obviously, we had a buzzer beater in North Carolina Duke. Big Caleb Wilson game. I thought he was really good.
He looked great, and then Boozer looked great down the stretch.
Arizona
falling to Kansas.
Arizona fell to Kansas
with no
Darren Peterson either.
But Flory Badunga is a guy who I think will go fairly early this year. Playing as we're recording this, Purdue is playing Nebraska right now. I'm surprised you're not all on board Sam Hoiberg. He is the most Cooper player I've ever seen.